There's an island off the coast of Brazil where the government has made it illegal to set foot. Not because of a military base, not because of a nuclear disaster, because of the snakes, between 2,000 and 4,000 of them. On 43 hectares, one snake per square meter of jungle floor, each one a golden lancehead pit viper found nowhere else on Earth, with venom 3 to 5 times more potent than any mainland snake, fast enough to melt human tissue before you can reach a hospital. Today we look at 5 islands you will never be allowed to visit, each forbidden for a completely different reason. A Pacific atoll, where 23 nuclear bombs were detonated and the ground is still radioactive 7 decades later. A Japanese island where a sacred rule bans half the human population from ever setting foot on it. A brand new Icelandic island born from the ocean and living memory. An island where an uncontacted tribe has lived in isolation for 50,000 years and will kill anyone who approaches. 5 islands, 5 completely different reasons, none of them open to you. This is island number 1. Queimada Grande sits 27 kilometers off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil. From above, it looks like a postcard. 43 hectares of dense green jungle surrounded by deep blue water. The Brazilian Navy has closed it to the public. The only people permitted to land are scientists with a special research permit, and even they must have a doctor present at all times. About 11,000 years ago, rising sea levels cut the island off from the Brazilian mainland, trapping ordinary Jararaca snakes. With no ground-level predators and no ground-level prey, the snakes evolved. They went vertical, hunting migratory birds that land on the island during long ocean crossings. But birds can fly away before venom takes effect. So over thousands of years, the golden lancehead evolved a venom 3 to 5 times more potent than its mainland relatives, capable of causing kidney failure, brain hemorrhage, and tissue death in under an hour. A bite carries a 7% chance of death, even with treatment. One odd fact about Queimada Grande: a lighthouse keeper and his family once lived on the island. According to local legend, snakes entered through the windows one night. Nobody survived. The lighthouse has been automated ever since. For island number 2, we cross the Pacific. This is island number 2, and the only island on this list destroyed not by nature, but by deliberate human decision, and then abandoned. Bikini Atoll is a coral atoll in the Marshall Islands in the Central Pacific Ocean. In February 1946, the United States asked the 167 people who lived there to leave. King Judah, their leader, agreed. He told his people, "We will go," believing that everything is in the hands of God. The U.S. promised the move would be temporary. It has now lasted nearly 80 years. Between 1946 and 1958, the United States detonated 23 nuclear weapons on and around Bikini Atoll. The Castle Bravo bomb on the 1st of March, 1954, produced a yield of 15 megatons, more than 1,000 times the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Scientists had predicted between 4 and 8 megatons. They were wrong by a factor of nearly 4. The explosion vaporized 3 islands entirely. Radioactive fallout rained down on inhabited atolls more than 200 kilometers away. Children played in what fell from the sky, thinking it was snow. A 2016 Columbia University study found radiation levels in parts of Bikini Atoll at nearly double the internationally agreed safe limit for human habitation. The soil is contaminated, the coconuts are contaminated, the groundwater is contaminated. Islanders allowed to return in the 1970s were evacuated again by 1978. The Bikini Islanders still live on other islands. One odd fact about Bikini Atoll: the coconut crabs that live there are now radioactive, with cesium-137 measured in their bodies at levels far beyond what is considered safe. And yet they are enormous, healthy, and completely unbothered. For island number 3, we fly to Japan. This is island number 3. Okinoshima sits 60 kilometers off the coast of Fukuoka, Japan, in the Korea Strait. The entire island is considered a living god. Its full name is almost never spoken aloud. Locals call it simply the island whose name cannot be said. In 2017, it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. UNESCO status usually brings tourists. At Okinoshima, nothing changed. Women are not permitted on the island. They never have been. Men may only enter after stripping naked and performing a purification ritual in the sea. They may take nothing from the island, not a stone, not a blade of grass, not a pine branch floating offshore. And when they leave, they are forbidden from speaking about anything they saw or heard there. The island holds more than 80,000 artifacts, buried or placed between rocks over 15 centuries. Bronze mirrors, comma-shaped beads, fragments of Persian glass, gold rings from the Korean peninsula, pieces of the Silk Road that arrived on a single island and were never moved. In the 1600s, a feudal lord removed some of the offerings. According to legend, the sky filled with strange lights and disease swept through his people. He returned everything to the island. One odd fact about Okinoshima: the only permanent resident is a single Shinto priest, rotating every 10 days, whose sole job is to pray and ensure no one gets in. For island number 4, we fly north. This is island number 4, forbidden from the moment it appeared. On the 14th of November, 1963, the cook aboard an Icelandic fishing vessel spotted dark smoke rising from the Atlantic Ocean, 32 kilometers off Iceland's southern coast. What they found was an island being born. A volcanic eruption 130 meters below the surface had broken through. Over 3.5 years, it built an island of basalt and ash from open sea. By June 1967, Surtsey covered 2.7 square kilometers and rose 170 meters above sea level. Scientists declared it a nature reserve while it was still erupting. The ban is not about safety. One boot carrying one seed from the mainland would compromise decades of observations. Scientists who visit must strip all biological material from clothing, carry all waste off in sealed containers, and stay on marked paths. The first fly arrived in 1964. The first flowering plant in 1965. The first birds nested in 1970. Today, Surtsey hosts 89 bird species and 335 species of invertebrates, all arriving without human help. One odd fact about Surtsey: a scientist once accidentally brought a tomato seed to the island. A tomato plant grew. It was immediately removed, and the incident became a formal scientific research paper. Surtsey is eroding slowly back into the sea. By 2100, scientists say it will be gone. For island number 5, we fly to the Bay of Bengal. This is island number 5, and it is the only island on this list where approaching it can get you killed. Not by radiation, not by snakes, by the people who live there. North Sentinel Island sits in the Bay of Bengal, 50 kilometers west of Port Blair, the capital of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It is roughly the size of Manhattan. Nobody knows exactly how many people live on it, because nobody has ever been close enough to count. The Sentinelese have lived on North Sentinel Island for at least 50,000 years. They are one of the last truly uncontacted peoples on Earth. They have no immunity to common diseases. A respiratory infection that would keep most people in bed for a week could kill their entire community. The Indian government established a 5-kilometer exclusion zone around the island, enforced by the Indian Navy, day and night. The Sentinelese do not know that law exists. They enforce their own version. In 1981, armed warriors surrounded a cargo ship that ran aground on the reef. The crew had to be airlifted out. In 2006, 2 fishermen who drifted ashore while sleeping were killed and their bodies displayed on poles on the beach. In 2018, an American named John Allen Chow paddled ashore in a kayak. A boy fired an arrow that pierced the Bible he held against his chest. He swam back. The next morning he returned. Fishermen offshore saw the tribe drag his body along the beach and bury it in the sand. It was never recovered. One really odd fact about North Sentinel Island: when the 2004 tsunami struck, a Coast Guard helicopter flew over to check on the tribe. A lone bowman stood on the beach and fired arrows at the aircraft. Every single Sentinelese person had survived. They had somehow known the wave was coming. They simply remain, saying with arrows what they have been saying for 50,000 years: leave us alone.